Let's talk about the diaspora remittances on the economy of Lagos and, of course, the country in general. It appears there's a kind of decline when you look at the remittances that we had last year compared to what we have now.
Well, thank you very much once again for inviting me to speak to you and on this topic.
You're very welcome.
I am Severe Valuer. I'm also the former Senior Special Assistant on Diaspora Foreign Relations to the Lagos State Governor. And in that position, I was able to understand, and while interacting with foreign agencies or bodies, consulates, and also the Nigerian Diaspora Commission led by Honorable Abike Daperewa in Abuja, to understand the dynamics of diaspora and diaspora remittances. Just for explanation, since I want to break it down technically, people who don't know what diaspora means. Diaspora is gotten from a Greek word which means to scatter, to disperse you. And it also relates to the concept of people who have been dispersed from their homeland, who are now in a foreign land, but have affinity or show ties, maintain connections with their native land. So you may see a Nigerian who's in the UK or America or Spain or Antarctica, wherever we may be around the world, but still has that roots. That's what we call the diaspora. Yes, there's a decline. Actually, the CBN put out a report and saying that the half-year remittances so far being recorded experienced a 21% decline as opposed to last year. The country in total remittances have received close to $952 million as opposed to $1.2 billion recorded at the same time last year. So this is a significant drop of 21%. And there are many factors that have contributed towards this.
Well, what are the factors?
There are many. It could be something as simple as Nigerians not trusting the financial system, the country. Yes, there was a lot of financial issues, no cash policy, and how that hampered a lot of funds, and that really affected people's trust in the financial systems of things. And they also found other means of releasing or sending this cash. Now, you must note that these are the official figures sent by the government of Nigeria. People might have opted to use other unconventional or other informal ways to transfer this money to people in Nigeria, their dependents in Nigeria. And also another factor that could be is just a simple thing as the global economic trend. Post COVID-19, people have lost a lot of jobs. Nigerians are in the diaspora one of the most smartest, intelligent people in the world. You see, in America, Nigerians in the diaspora are one of the most educated BME community or quote and unquote minority communities in America. They are well educated with master's degrees, experienced, enlightened, and they are hardworking in the medical and the IT field. Especially the IT field, whereby you have seen people like Google, you have seen people like Amazon, people like what they call them, Microsoft and other big names, fintech companies have been also cutting jobs. So this might have hindered the ability or hampered the ability of Nigerians in the diaspora to send more cash home. So the war in Ukraine also has a part to play when it comes to global trend, because it has affected almost every other thing in the world. So why not the diaspora remittances? So loss of jobs, loss of disposable income. Another factor is also the high cost of living in these foreign countries. It could also have a direct impact on the remittances that they send.
I'm sorry to cut in. Can we also ascribe this to the high rate of inflation globally?
Fabulous. That was the next point I was going to get to. Thank you for saying that. I was saying that I consider myself a diaspora very, very much based in the UK, but I work in Lagos assiduously when I'm in town. And what I have seen in the UK is that there has been an increase in the standard of living, in the cost of living. Basically, your bills from £60 or £80 has jumped up to £150, £200. Mortgage rates from like 1-2% have gone up to 6%. So the cost to live and to exist in the diaspora is higher than ever before. The global inflation trend, as you have so rightfully mentioned, has affected it. Even in Nigeria, the cost of living, I just read a report that says Nigerian inflation rate has gone up to around 22%. So you can see this kind of high figures, the rise in average cost of living, cost of goods and services will ultimately affect that disposable income the diasporans are able to send back home, and it affects various sectors. Let's look at it. Let me talk about the sectors. So first of all, he's a surveyor and valuer, studied asset management, University of Lagos, went into international business and management, and actually studied a master's, completing a master's at the University of Ibadan in diaspora and transnational studies. When we look back at pre-COVID days, you will see what happened. In 2018, Nigeria recorded the highest amount of diaspora remittances ever into the country, and it stood around $24 billion into Nigeria's economy from the diaspora. That is a lot of money. It's a wow figure, which represented around 5% of the country's GDP, gross domestic product. And when you look at it, it is a vital source of our foreign exchange. Apart from the oil exports that we get foreign exchange from, the oil exports like our raw materials, agriculture and things like that. The third one is Nigerians in diasporas actually remitting and sending money back home. This supports local businesses, it supports families. And why I mentioned the fact that I'm from here value is because when you look at the Lekki area axis of Lagos, which is the most dynamic and the fastest growing real estate corridor in sub-Saharan Africa, Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has done a lot to ensure the continuity which Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu brought into play as a power back as 20 years ago. You see that corridor is experiencing a lot of real estate boom, and when you go to a lot of real estate practitioners or developers in that area, they will tell you that a lot of the money, a lot of the buying and selling or the purchasing of properties there through mortgages or outright purchases is through diasporans, through Nigerians in the diasporas. They have money, they will just send it back home and they will be able to buy a property 2, 3, 4. Imagine for £100,000, you may be able to, that is close to 1 million naira at today's exchange, 100 million naira, which at today's exchange rate, you can buy a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom in the Chevron Drive or Lekki axis comfortably. But while in the UK, you may not be able to buy that. So you can see that from time immemorial of 2018, when we started looking at these trends, people had a lot of money to dispose. But now that the world is in a global recession triggered by COVID-19, you can now see that it's dwindling year by year.
If this trend should continue, what does it portend for the economy of Nigeria and Lagos in general?
Okay, very good question. Well, I would just say that in 2018, it was $24 billion. In 2021, it was $19.3 billion. In 2022, it jumped to $19.8 billion into the Nigerian economy from the diaspora. And now, in just the first half, it is $952 million, a 21% decline. So what does it imply? It means that people will not have that support they used to get, or that relief they used to get from their brothers, their sisters who have gone abroad to live. Some have jackpot, some have done it the right way, the regular way. They may not have that kind of loose cash to send to them, and that may affect people's cost of living, people's ability to buy their groceries, buy things, pay for their rents. The real estate sector that is so booming, as I mentioned, may not be able. We may see a delay in the time of completion for most of the projects that have been earmarked to complete maybe next year or in the next 2 years, depending on their plans. And also, when it comes to people who have to pay things like the small businesses that rely on patronage from London, from America, and all that, they would see a lack of that patronage. And you must understand that most of the support that they get are from the two nations, United States of America and United Kingdom. These are the major sources of remittances into Nigeria. Yes, we know of the South migration. South Africa represents a high portion of Nigerians in diaspora. Also Ghana, Saudi Arabia, Canada also represent a high portion. But these two main nations, you will see they're having experiences of strikes, of job cuts. This affects ultimately our diaspora's ability to send back money and affects the Nigerians in diaspora, Nigerians in Lagos, and ability to actually use those funds for meaningful things. I'm looking for a time whereby most of these diaspora remittances will go, not just as we see the record shows, 60% of remittances goes into consumption. We want a time whereby these remittances will go into production, industries, and also construction of either
and that, of course, will grow the economy of the country.
And yes, it will help the countries.
We may have to bring you back on the program some other time to talk about this particular issue as regards the impact of diaspora remittances on Lagos and the economy of the country. We thank you very much for sharing your thought with us on the program this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me, and God bless you and God bless Lagos.